I'll start the recording again. So this is the Board of Health meeting of October 4th, 2023. We have a quorum consisting of 3 members, myself, Catherine Hilton, Garrett Simonson, and Noreen Pease. And the meeting is at 7 o'clock and not at 10 o'clock. I'll have to ask Grace what's going on with that. So can I have a motion to accept the minutes from last meeting? Or not?
Move to approve. Yeah, move to approve.
Well, I'll second it, I guess. All in favor?
Garrett, yes.
Kat, yes. Noreen, you're muted.
Thank you. Do I need to abstain?
No, you're
Okay.
allowed to vote even if you
Then-
weren't there.
Then yes.
Okay, so there we are. You may notice that I put 5759 Shore Drive, that's Donna and Gary West, back on the agenda for tonight. The only reason I did this is that we got an email from Miriam wanting to make sure that we were following Title V. And her particular interest was in the setback from the subsurface drain. I looked at Title V myself, and I found that from a tight tank to a drain that's not discharging to a surface water supply or tributary thereto, or that intercepts the seasonal high groundwater table, that the setback is 5 feet. And I asked Claudia to revisit it, and she did revisit it, and she also asked Charlie, and Charlie said it's good. So that's that. They are having a Concom hearing next week, or sometime next week. But we've already voted to approve, and I've let Miriam know that we stand ready to issue that permit as soon as Concom issues its conditions. So I just wanted to get you up to speed on that.
Sounds good to me.
Yep. So I have only 2 other things. One, I went to there were some emails going around from Wayne Dorman and Diane Jacoby, who live at 230 Leverett Road. And they were complaining that Wayne described it as a nutrient-rich effluent entering their property. I went over and had a look at it, and not from where it came from, because it was coming from up in a wet area, and we didn't go up there. But so I went to see it, and they told me how what was once a clear surface stream, not a stream that was in a bank, but just kind of flowed over a regular area on the ground, used to be clear, and now was kind of red and clayey looking, and it didn't smell good. And apparently that bad smell was what was making Wayne think it was nutrient rich. However, I did not think it was nutrient rich because there wasn't any enhanced vegetation or any algae or anything around it. It just looked kind of like red clay. And there was a bit of a frou-frou going on. However, good old Miriam solved the problem. She looked at the pictures that Wayne took, and he took 36 pictures of mud, and she identified it as iron-eating bacteria, which I'd never heard of before, but she suggested that might be it, and Diane went online, and now they're satisfied that that's what it was. It was all kind of a big false alarm. But just to let you know what stupid things I've been up to, right? And here's a new thing that wasn't on the posted agenda. There is someone on town who lives up West Pelham Road. It's probably, I'm guessing it's maybe a half mile up from, what's that? Leverett Road. Who is interested in being buried on her own property. And we do have the ability to permit that. I told her that her lot is large enough. It's about 3 acres. I told her that she would have to have a soil analysis and that she'd have to meet the setbacks. I'm at home and I don't happen to have the guidelines or the guidelines that we developed back in 2017. I don't happen to have them in front of me. It seems to me that the guidelines we had, there was a property line setback. There was a setback from wells. There was a setback from surface water. And there was a requirement for a soil analysis to, I'm not sure to how many feet it would have to be done. I would have to look at the guidelines about how deep a body is supposed to be buried.
Kat, I looked up our guidelines, but I just found them for the West Cemetery. Are they different for home burial? I mean, because I have that one up and I can quote that one if it's helpful.
I don't think that they are significantly different, except
I didn't think
they
so.
did at West Cemetery, they did the soil analysis at the
Right.
outset, and then they don't have to do it anymore. So
Right.
is there stuff in there that's different from what I just described?
Hold on one second.
Okay.
The only thing that comes to mind for me real quickly as Noreen's looking at that up is that she would have to file something related to her deed.
Good point. Did we have that in our guidelines? You know, I don't think that those guidelines ever really got finalized, so we can.
Kat, I thought
Yeah.
it was smart and I had it up and I started fooling around with Zoom, so it's not in my browser.
Okay.
Let's see if I can pull it up
Okay.
again quickly. Thought I was on top of it, Kat.
Of course, the deed notice, that's a good point, but the deed notice wouldn't really be the person's responsibility as much as her estate, right? Because
Yeah, so I'm not
she
sure
hasn't
when
been there yet.
so if there's the intent to do that, and then there's the actual execution of the burial, at what point you would be required to file with the deed.
Well, I'm thinking about that, and it seems like what you have to do to have home burial is to establish a family cemetery on your property. Let me write this down so I don't forget. And so presumably that the existence of that family cemetery would be the subject of a deed notice.
Okay, I've got them up now.
Okay.
Bodies must be buried such that they are no deeper than 4 feet from the ground surface, yet must maintain a minimum of 2 feet of soil between the body and the surface.
Okay.
And at least 2 feet of naturally occurring permeable soil must be present between the bottom of the excavation and the estimated seasonal high water table.
Okay. Okay, where did you find this?
I just Googled guidelines for Shutesbury green burial, and the West Cemetery guidelines come up.
Oh, okay,
but not the ones that address home, which is only, so um,
right, we don't have that online, I don't think.
okay,
Okay, okay, so we have the between 2 and 4 feet and okay,
you know, buried in a shroud or disposable coffin
mm-hmm,
and open bottom. You know,
right.
okay, no, the home burial doesn't need to be overseen by a funeral director, I don't believe.
No, and I don't think that people are having a funeral director be involved in
No,
West Cemetery either, and it's not a problem for me.
right,
I think the first person to be buried in the green burial section was Andy Fairchild, and as far as I know, it was just a strictly homemade affair. Okay, so I will assemble the requirements and send them to this individual. I assume she's not in a really big hurry. Okay. And when I find what we have in the way of guidelines, even though they're not really final, I'll send them around, and maybe this would be a good time to finalize them.
So when a burial site is located in a private property, does that site then get registered with the cemetery commission?
Oh, that's an interesting thought. Certainly they should be informed. I should ask them what they would want when a family cemetery is established, and see if there's anything that we should be asking. 2 or 3 times people have expressed interest in this and then have changed their minds at the last minute. So we have not actually had a home burial in Shutesbury.
oh,
Interesting. Because the thought process I'm having is, if it gets registered with a deed, then it should at least be on record. Well, it's on record.
Mhm.
But then with the town, it should be at least on record with the cemetery commission that there's a family plot there.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I will reach out to them and see how they would like to have that happen. Right, if history is any guide, there's not going to be a home burial here, but who knows? One thing I'm wondering about is suppose we give a permit or a permission or whatever it is that we have to give for a family burial plot to be established, and then nobody gets buried in it. So it would really muddy the waters if they had a deed notice saying there's a family cemetery here, and that would be part of the property, and then it turns out there isn't anybody in the cemetery. And so I'm not sure how to think about that, if we should hold up that deed notice until someone actually gets buried there.
I don't have a good answer.
I'll see if I can find out. There is some stuff not in Title V, but there is some stuff that we got from Charlie at one point.
I mean, it would seem to make sense that the deed notice wouldn't happen just because of intent,
Right.
happen because of actual burial.
Mm-hmm. Right, and there should be, I mean, okay, suppose we gave the permission and a home burial plot was established, and then it was used. A person's actually buried there. There should be. I was going to say there should be some way that we are notified so that we can put all this into action. We are notified, but because when there's a death in your town or a burial in your town, the Board of Health gets some kind of notification. In the case of Shutesbury, we have delegated that function to the town clerk. So it might be as simple as having the town clerk notify us that that a person is being or has been buried in one of these plots. And then we could require the estate to record a deed notice. I don't like that very much.
Is that, what happens with the regular cemeteries? It's just recorded as part of the cemetery commission's responsibilities?
I think that the idea is the Board of Health is supposed to give permission for people to be buried.
Mm.
But I don't know because it's so long since I've gotten one of these notices because Grace gets them all,
Yeah.
right? The town clerk has been getting them for years and years. Let me talk to Grace about it and see what the procedure is that she goes through.
Yeah.
And what our nominal role is, and see if that sheds some light.
And I guess we don't know how onerous the process is of recording this on the deed, the land.
Oh, it's nothing. You
It
would
isn't, okay.
you would have a document and you would take it to the registry and they would you would pay $75 and they would copy it into their electronic database, and it would be there for for all time, so that whenever there's a title search, it would come up.
Okay.
So maybe for next time, if our meeting isn't busy, maybe we can take up some of these questions and kind of get things straightened out. So for my part, I think that's all I have. So Noreen, what's this survey that you sent out?
I have 3 quick updates. One is this is a community health survey that I believe that the state has initiated, and it's for regular residents to fill out so that we get a sense of what person's health needs are, and we with a particular eye to looking for if there are persons with various disabilities, and learning more about inaccessibility to healthcare for certain populations. Anyway, Athena sent out a notice today. I was just thinking one way to try and get the word out about it, other than Sarah, might be to ask Marianne if she could put some flyers up in the library. And I noticed it had a little, what's it called, like a key code where you can get right directly to the survey.
Code, yeah,
QR code, yeah.
Oh, cool. So
we're just encouraging any citizen to fill it out, to be part of.
And who gets the results? Do they come to Shutesbury or do they go to somebody else?
That's a good question. No, they don't come to Shutesbury. There's somebody, do you remember, Garrett, from our meeting? I think the state or FERCog or somebody is compiling them.
So it's a state level survey. So they're going to do all of the data collection and analysis, and then I think they'll try to do it sort of in a regional way, the analysis, and maybe even at a shared services level if the data allows, if there's enough people who complete the survey. And the purpose is really to address health equity in public health services and planning for public health services, and ensuring that folks have equitable access to services statewide.
Okay. Okay. So presumably at some point, some data will come back to us, but maybe not the raw data from our
Right.
town, or even the analyzed data from our town.
Yeah, I doubt they'd be able to get it that granular. It'll be
Okay.
probably Western Mass, maybe county based.
Yeah.
Has either of you taken the survey
No,
I have,
or looked at the pieces? Okay. Well,
so I don't know how long it takes. And I haven't read that, it's a particular amount of time or.
okay, I'll take it and see.
okay, great.
I'll see what kind of questions there are, and how long it takes and how detailed it is, and whether it's, top of your head, seat of your pants kind of thing, or if you have to actually do something, if it's labor. And at that point, we can send out a message on Town Announce, which, I love Town Announce, but I wish more people got it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
That's why I thought maybe the library.
yeah, no, I think the library is good. Possibly we could have it sent home with school children, or at least have the notice put in the Road Town News so that so that the parents will see it. Where else? We can put it up. We can put the invitation with the QR code up at Town Hall, and ask Grace to encourage people to take it when they come in to see her. She sees a fair amount of traffic. Can you think of any other avenues?
Not really.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Before you go on with your other updates, I'm gonna jump in, because if I don't, I'll forget. Thinking about Town Announce, I've been getting questions on email and in person about what's going on with COVID. And I think that we need to put out a message saying, we don't have the faintest idea, and
Oh, that reminds
why.
me. Okay.
Do you have more to say on that?
No, I don't have updated information on that. What I do have, though, is I know people who've been having difficulty getting access to COVID vaccines from
Really?
time and again. Yeah, I think CVS, I think the pharmacies were out for a while. I think they have it again. But I did get there are on the FERCog website, the public health clinics are listed there, but there is one on October 20th at Greenfield Middle School. And I have the link ready to go as soon as Megan tells me that it's okay to share it.
Okay.
So we could share that link with our residents and let them know when this clinic is going to take place.
Okay.
So
Okay, that would be good.
yeah, that's what I thought.
But it's sort of not, it's not common, it's not public knowledge yet, is it? The deal?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll hold off on a COVID related message.
Well, I don't know if you would hold off. I mean, this is just additional information that there is going to be a clinic at Greenfield Middle School. And also, that people can look if they're having trouble finding places to get their vaccine, that they can look on the FERCog website, and all of the public health clinics are listed there.
Okay.
The other thing, well, this is more detailed than people probably want to know, but the biggest health insurer in the state was not processing claims for COVID vaccine. So the Valley Health Coalition contacted Joe Comerford, and she was aware of it, and she's working on trying to remedy that situation.
Hmm.
So that was, yeah,
You think
ridiculous.
They decided not to, or because they just were backlogged, or
Uh, I don't remember the details on that.
surprising?
And who
Yeah,
is
I
that
know.
biggest insurer?
Hold on.
I would think.
It's not Blue Cross and Blue Shield. It's something, I think it's Help New England. I
Really,
think it was Help New England.
Hmm.
that surprises me.
Yeah, anyway, Joe Comerford was on it and was feeling, certain that she would be able to make some changes so that inequity would be rectified.
Mhm.
So that was just another glitch in getting people access to COVID vaccine again. All right, I have two other just quick things. Garrett, I think you've told us before, and I just can't remember. I know you've worked with Becky on the opioid funding, and if we set up a revolving fund for those funds to go into, for that money to go
I
into.
think I think the answer to that is no, because I think it has to go before town meeting in order to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know Deerfield is just voting on it, I think with their Board of Health, but they're also the select board.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think it has to. I think that it has to go before town meeting.
I think you're
Okay.
right, because it's a revolving fund and revolving funds are established by town meeting. The question would be, does it have to be annual town meeting or can it be at a special town meeting?
I think it can be a special town meeting based on the information that's been provided by the FERCog at the workshops that they've done on this.
Mhm.
So it doesn't have to be annual, but it does have to be a town meeting, I think.
Well, that would be, I mean, that could happen fairly quickly. Because at some point this fall, we're meant to be having a special town meeting. One of the purposes of that meeting will be to pay as a bill of prior years for a
Oh,
previous
right.
year of the mosquito control district. And we could add this as another warrant article.
Yep. And I've mentioned it to Becky in the past, but it certainly wouldn't hurt to bring it up again and connect it to that other issue that we have.
Yeah, I'll send another memo to the select board and copy Becky, reminding them that we need a special town meeting and we have two warrant articles that we want to put forward.
That'd be great.
Okay,
And just the final thing is an update, and it's good news from MAFCO. Our evaluation committee has been working extremely well together. We only had one respondent. We had 20 different entities looking at our RFP, but only one respondent. We interviewed that group today. They are a large group from another state. And the evaluation committee did make a recommendation to present that group to the steering committee, which will take place on the 16th of October. So we're hoping we will have a vendor in place to, carry out all of the deliverables for the FEP grant soon.
okay, I don't feel like I'm up to speed here, Noreen. Evaluation committee.
MAFCO, we don't have a FEP planner this year.
I thought you.
FERCog decided they
remember.
weren't going to do it. So we've issued an RFP and an RFI. One is for public entities and the other included private entities could apply. So only one vendor applied. And we have reviewed and that
it's a corporate vendor, not an individual.
it's a corporate vendor.
Okay.
That vendor met all the basic criteria according to state procurement law and the outline of the services that we presented. And today we interviewed that vendor
Mhm.
And then the evaluation committee, which is comprised of 3 members of the steering committee for MAPCO, decided to recommend this particular group to the steering committee, and that meeting will take place on the 16th of October.
And that would be, they would work for MEFCO on a contract basis.
Right, correct. For the end, until the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th.
I had thought that I heard you say that there was an individual who had applied. Was that a different position or?
What I said was we were hopeful at that point. Apparently,
Oh.
there were a lot of hits. There were over 20 hits from individuals and public entities looking at our proposal
I
and
see.
asking questions about our proposal through the procurement team at FERCog.
Mhm.
And apparently no one else decided to apply.
Okay, so you only had one applicant and
Right.
that applicant is being interviewed next week.
No, was interviewed today
Has been interviewed.
by
Oh,
the evaluation
and
committee.
and the evaluation committee is gonna recommend.
Yes,
Got it. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, well, that's good.
That is good.
Now,
And I mean, the really good news is the team of people that are working on this are working really well together and are inclusive. And I think the meetings are efficient and much more effective. And I'm feeling much better about how things are moving. So that's good news.
yeah, that's excellent. Now, you said that they would do these things up to the end of the fiscal year. Is that just because that's how the length of a contract and then it would be renewable if both
Good
parties
question.
agree?
And my understanding is the state specifies or puts in the contract that it's only a contract for 1 year in the event that the vendor does not perform. And then
Mhm.
there's an option for an easier option, I think, for the entities for whom the vendor is working to terminate the contract.
Mhm.
And Garrett, you're part of this, but I think my understanding was I asked that question specifically, and it was that there is verbiage in the contract ending every contract at the end of each fiscal year, and then having the entities reapply for the upcoming fiscal year.
They have to actually reapply. It's not just agree to renew.
Garrett, I don't know. You've been doing this a lot of years in your
So my contract is renewable upon agreement by parties. But that's after, a number of years. So I don't know if DPH requires, like in the initial contract, that language not be there. I don't.
Mhm.
Yeah, my understanding was that this was specific language that is in the contract in the event that, because I asked a question also about what criteria we would use and what process for evaluating this new vendor. And they said that, if there would be performance criteria that will all work out together, and if they aren't meeting those performance criteria, then there would be the opportunity to terminate the contract at the end of the fiscal year.
And they've added a number of new contractual requirements in this budget period, so I may just not be aware of that. Yeah.
When you say they, you mean DPH?
DPH, yes.
Okay. Okay, well, that's good to hear, but it doesn't require any action on our part.
No. Just want to update everybody and
Yeah.
particularly keep Garrett in the loop,
Right.
since I may decide any day to retire.
No, not yet. You're still standing up, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
All right. All right.
All right.
Is there anything else that we need to discuss? Okay, so I've got a bunch of homework. And I think we're good. We voted on the minutes. I told you about Donna and Gary, Diane and what's his name, Wayne, and the burial person. I think that's all I have. Garrett, anything you need to tell us?
I don't have anything other than I enjoyed the weather the past 2 days.
You should have seen it over here. There were people out water skiing,
I bet.
swimming, stand-up paddling. The lake was just full of people taking advantage of this great weather.
Do it before they draw it down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, did you see that? They got an emergency certification.
It's wicked high right now.
I know it. I know it. No, yeah, I know. If they don't get this finished, I don't know
I
what
know.
to do. It's really inconvenient.
Totally. Oh yeah, for you going up to town for sure.
Yeah, and I'm going like 5 days a week
Oh,
because
geez.
because I'm working on this this files thing. I guess you probably didn't hear about it because I don't think you were here last time. You were away, right?
Yes.
So so Charlie Konecki decided that it was time to send all the district files back to the towns. And he had all these file cabinets in his basement, and you can tell because the files are a little bit smelly. And he had them all brought. Somebody from Irving went over with trucks and brought them all back to Irving Town Hall. And four, count them, were Shutesbury.
4 total files, that's it?
No, 4 filing cabinets.
Oh, geez. Oh my God.
And so I've been schlepping, I've made 3 trips up there and carried them down to town hall, and now I'm trying to either, to process them, either to absorb what's missing into the files that I already have, or to basic, I mean, 99 and 4400% of it is going in the recycle bin, but I can't just dump them. I have to see what's in them. And in fact, there's some stuff I'm glad to have,
Oh, good.
but because we are missing some things, and they have some things that fill in some gaps. But
Well, that is your woman's work. Thank you, Kat. Really. Wow.
I'm getting paid for doing this.
Oh, that's good.
Don't
That's
worry.
good. Yes, good. I was gonna say it's kind of akin to cleaning out Bill's basement, I think, or Bill's house.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Bill Elliott's house.
it's about on the same scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. And it's made me realize that our Board of Health files are in considerable disarray. So after I get all this intake phase, I'm gonna go through every drawer, and by the time I get done, our files are gonna be pristine.
All right.
And then I'm gonna
Wow.
freaking retire.
We'll all retire at once.
At once, yeah. Like, don't worry, whoever you new people are, the files are beautiful.
Oh, great. All right. And how are you, Garrett?
Doing good. We went to Wyoming last week
Oh,
to
nice.
bring mom home
Yeah.
for her final resting place, and to have her celebration of life. So that was
it good?
Yeah, it was very, very nice.
Uh-huh.
We traveled the country and did the ash spreading in the places that she had requested, and had a nice memorial at the museum.
Perfect.
Oh, nice. Very nice. The museum that she was a ranger at?
So she was a ranger at a park, but we did it at
Oh.
The Homesteaders Museum in the county.
Oh, wonderful. That sounds perfect. Do you know, I've been regretting very much that I didn't, what was wrong with me? Why didn't I just call on the woman? Why didn't I just put some muffins in a basket and come over to your house and say, how do you do, Mrs. Simonson? And I'm really regretting that now, that I didn't get to meet her, and I didn't just take the initiative to do it.
We had a good 6 months with her here, so.
Yeah. Well, and how wonderful that her friends there let you know what was going on, and were right on top of
Yep,
what was happening, so that you did have those 6 months.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were good.
All right, well, I
All right.
move to adjourn.
I second.
Okay, let's do it.
All righty. Bye. Bye,
Okay.
everyone.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Good night.